Energy and air quality are two important issues in modern cities. On one hand, we want to save energy for sustainable development. On the other hand, people want to protect public health by improving air quality. But the question is, how can we do that? Does it mean that we need to sacrifice one while achieving another one? Or we can do both together? Today, I'm going to share a case that demonstrates a co-benefits on energy saving and air quality by retrofit existing buildings. Let's get started from the health part. This figure showing the global ranking of risk factors contributing to premature death, contributed by Health Effect Institute. The y-axis is the risk factor, and the x-axis is how many deaths is contributed every year. If you pay attention to the top 5 risk factor, the top 4 is really about personal choice and personal habits. But the fifth one, total air pollution, is the first environmental factor that causes about 5 million premature deaths every year globally. Air pollution has been confirmed by the World Health Organization as the single largest environmental health risk to public health. In Hong Kong, according to a report by local institute in 2006, is showing that the ambient air pollution contributes to 1,600 premature deaths, which will lead to directly economic loss of over 20 billion. So we do have a problem with air pollution here. Some may be curious, what is the level we are breathing in our region compared to other regions? And here is showing the map of the ambient PM 2.5 concentration. While PM 2.5 is fine particles with aerodynamic diameter less than 5 micrometers. And the concentration map is colored by the different colors. The hotter the color, the higher the concentration. So if we pay attention to where we reside, the region is coated with mainly the orange and the red one, which is about 2 to 3 times higher than the level that is recommended by the WHO. So unfortunately, we are living in a region that the air quality is not that friendly to us. Some people may say, well, the outdoor air is not good, but we do not spend all our time outdoor every day. We spend most of our time indoors, actually. But does that mean we are safe while we are in? Let's look at this figure. Well, a person is indoor, he or she is not actually isolated from the outdoor air because we have the heat ventilation air conditioning system. And that system, together with the door and windows, can bring the outdoor air into the indoor and get people contact with those air pollutants. Actually, the indoor air concentration is a function of the outdoor air pollutants. And it's very much dependent on what kind of HVAC system we have and how we operate that. In a way, HVAC systems play a very important role in the air pollution exposure we have every day. But of course, the HVAC system is always linked to a building, and building is a major place for us to work and live. General public spend more than 80% of our time indoor every day. So the exposure we get from air pollutants in the buildings contributes significantly to our total daily exposure. And those two air pollutants may cause a health problem, low work performance, and on some of the days with high air pollution, maybe we need to take a sick leave. On the other hand, building is a big sector in energy consumption. This chart showing that globally, building sector contributes to 30% of the final energy use, and also contribute to 28% of the greenhouse gas emissions. You may wonder what is the portion of Hong Kong? That is double. So building sectors account for 64% of the final energy use. If we want to save energy, building sector is very critical. From the building within the building sector, we have many parts that consume energy. And the HVAC system account for a large part. This is for the commercial buildings. HVAC system account for about 1/4 of the final energy use in Hong Kong. So in a way, the HVAC system also contributes substantially to energy consumption. Well, if we summarize what we have been talking about, HVAC system play a very important role in determining the indoor air quality and our exposure to air pollutants, and meanwhile contribute significantly to the total energy consumptions in Hong Kong. So if we want to save energy and improve indoor air quality, maybe we can start with this system. But actually, there are many strategies have been proposed to modify the HVAC system so that it can save energy or improve indoor air quality, or both. You can see some of the measures mainly focus on the energy part. And some of the measures, they mainly focus on removing the indoor contaminants. A large of those are believed benefits on both energy and indoor air quality. But the question is, the performance of those strategies really depend on what climate we have and what is outdoor air pollution we are exposed to. So in Hong Kong, the question becomes, among these and other strategies, what are the suitable ones for us to apply? To answer this question, we need to understand that we are located in a very hot and humid climate region, which means temperature and relative humidity control the issue. And we are facing severe outdoor air pollution, so the system needs to be modified to prevent the outdoor infiltration of the pollutants as much as possible. And besides, Hong Kong is a very compact city. The existing building have very limited space to hold large devices. And then we need to consider the flexibility, the payback period for its practical use. And to answer this question, research is definitely needed to evaluate the performance of different measures and to give suggestions to the local sectors so that they can make a decision what strategies and how to retrofit their buildings. Well, here we present a case study that we have evaluated to have co-benefits on energy saving and indoor environment by retrofitting HVAC system in a commercial. The evaluation results has been published in the International Journal Energy and Buildings. In the following slides, I will mainly talking about the findings and highlights. If you are interested in details, you are more than welcome to download it on the link listed on the right-hand side or other links below. Okay, the building is built in 1975, which is a relatively old building. It's a typical commercial building that with the lower floors being used as a shopping area and the upper floors using as an office area. And the system using a central ventilation to take the air from the roof and distribute it among the floors and use the chill water for cooling. The retrofit mainly happens on HVAC system, and it can include different measures. The first one is to modify the current filtration system to be a two-stage filtration system for particles. To do that, they add a pleated filter with minimum efficiency reporting value of 13, which have a higher capacity to capture the fine part. And this is design of the system. When the fresh air go from outside into the system, it will first go to the aluminum filter, which is originally installed in the system to capture the coarse particles. And then it will go through the pleated filter, which is added to capture the fine particles. Well, the second measure is to deal with the humidity. What they do is they add the specially designed cooling coil to dehumidify the fresh air after the filtration. So you can see when the outdoor moist air going through the two-stage filtration system, it will be forced into a cooling coil that to dehumidify the air. And the coil is specially designed to increase the contact time and area so that the air that blew into the indoor is outdoor fresh air. The third one is to add a split ventilation on fifth floor to enhance the ventilation. And the reason for that is on the fifth floor, there is a showroom. It will hold events from time to time. So there will be a large crowd get together there. To enhance the ventilation, they add air intake just outside the showroom on fifth floor, so that people will not feel the air is very stagnant while they are doing the meetings or the show event. And the fourth one is to build a building management system to monitor and control ventilation and air conditioning, so that they can provide proper ventilation, but at the same time save energy. And this is a system. The control system is installed on the roof together with the ventilation, while the sensors is installed inside the offices. So the system be adjusted based on the reading of the sensors, adjust the operation of the engines so that to adjust the flow of the fresh air. The last but not least is to maintain a positive pressure system indoor. And the reason to do that is to prevent the infiltration of outdoor humidity and pollution from the building leaks. What they do is they renovate the building envelope so that to make the building more airtight, and then adjust to maintain a slightly higher indoor pressure than outdoor. And this has been confirmed by our measurements, which is showing that the red line is the outdoor pressure is slightly lower than the indoor ones and measures with different colors at different locations. And actually, this is very important. This measure will constrain all the infiltration of the outdoor air is through the main air intake on roof or on the fifth floor, where we have the devices to take care of the humidity and to remove the air pollutants. The performance assessments include three parts. The first one is to evaluate the energy performance. And the way is to collect the energy consumption data before, including the period both before and after the retrofit, to consumption reduction after the retrofit. The performance assessment including three parts: energy, indoor environment, and the co-benefits analysis. The first part is on the energy, and the way is we collect the energy consumption data from 2010, 2018, while the retrofit taken place in 2012. So in that way, we can compare the energy consumption before and after the retrofit. The second one is evaluate the indoor environment. We don't have data before the retrofit. What we do is we evaluate the current indoor environment using the field measurement. And two important metrics we consider is one, the thermal comfort, which is very related to the temperature and the relative humidity. And the second is indoor air quality, including both particles and the gases. We recognize that the outdoor climate and the outdoor air pollution level varies from season to season. So we do the measurements in both winter and summer to capture two extremes and to test whether the system can stand with two extremes situation. We also is curious about the impact of the added pleated filters, so we do a filter experiment. And the third one is to give a brief cost benefits and practical values for local sectors to refer when they consider whether or not to do the retrofit. The energy consumption is very directly can be seen from this figure, and this showing the energy consumption, monthly energy consumption from 2010 to 2018. You can see there is variations among different months, with most of the energy consumed. This is figure showing the energy consumption from 2010 to 2018 by each month. But you can see there is a variations among months with higher energy consumption occur during the summer seasons when more cooling power is used to cool down the air. The retrofit completed in May 2012, and you can see there is a big jump after the retrofit. If you average the energy consumption before and after the retrofit, you can get two curves, with the dashed line represent the energy consumption before the retrofit and the solid line after the retrofit. And the gap indicate the energy saving is about 50%, which is equivalent to any energy saving of about 0.7 million kilowatt hours. And that will bring a significant instance for the retrofitted company. Well, the indoor environment measurements, we use smart sensors. Those sensors are put both inside and outside. So in a way, we collect inside air quality and outside air quality and temperature humidity together, so that we can compare what is outdoor level and what is inside level. And all the sensors are put together before and after the measurements, and they agree with each other very well, so that when they are distributing to different locations, and the differences really represent the differences in either indoor air quality, air quality or thermal comfort. The thermal comfort, we use a predictive mean vault, which is an item usually used to evaluate the thermal comfort for human occupants. And that is very related to the temperature and relative humidity, and we measure that. Also related to the metabolite rate, cooling, insulation, and air velocity, we use a typical values that is applicable for our area. According to the ASHRAE standard 55, the acceptable thermal comfort in office area is from negative 0.5 to 0.5 range. And we calculate using the measured temperature, humidity, and the typical values for those other parameters. We estimate the percent of hours in the retrofit building, how many of the hours is residing in this region. And you can see in winter, all hours, all measured hours have the acceptable thermal comfort. In summer, about 90% of the hours have the general acceptable thermal comfort. That means the system can provide a general acceptable thermal comfort in both winter. For the air quality, we use a Hong Kong indoor air quality objective for all buildings and public places, which is effective in July the 1st, 2019. And this objective includes definition respirable suspended particles, which is PM10, and nitrogen dioxide and carbon monoxide. They do not have standard for PM2.5 and PM1, which are fine particles. For PM2.5, we use the WHO guideline. PM1, we don't have guideline to refer to, but we also report the values because this is an ultrafine particle that can go much deeper in lung and stay there to cause harmful health effects. We do the measurements both indoor and outdoor. If we focus on the outdoor part, we can see the outdoor concentration varies largely from day to day and between seasons. But if we move to the indoor part, we can see a significant decrease in the indoor concentration measure compared to the outdoor concentration. And that is because of the two-stage filtration system. If you lay a line here to show the Hong Kong indoor air quality standard, you will see most of the hours the indoor air quality can reach the excellent class defined by the HKIQ, which is also equivalent to the WHO annual guideline. And this is for PM10. And it's also, we do that also for carbon monoxide and the nitrogen dioxide. You see the same thing. First of all, the indoor air quality is lower than outdoor concentration. And then most of the measurement hours, they have the indoor air quality that can achieve HK indoor IAQ excellent class, which indicate that under the filtration system, the indoor air quality can be maintained in generally good conditions in both winter and summer. This is for PM 2.5 and PM1. You can see significantly lower indoor concentration compared to the outdoor, which again, because of the two-stage filtration system of the particles. And this is a WHO annual guideline for PM 2.5. You see most of the hours can actually comply with that guideline, indicate the good air quality can be provided under such a system. Just as we mentioned, the lower indoor air quality may be contributed, may be caused by the two-stage filtration system, but we wonder what is the impact of each one. So we do an experiment. During the experiment period, the pleated filter is taken out for maintenance purpose. So the only aluminum filter is left in the system. And you can see when the pleated filter is installed as a normal, the indoor concentration is showing in blue. It's much lower than outdoor concentration. But when the pleated filter is taken out, only aluminum filter is left. The indoor and outdoor concentration are very similar, which means the aluminum filter is not capable to filter out the fine particles efficiently. And if you do a calculation of the outdoor infiltration under these two periods, you can see with the pleated filter, the outdoor infiltration of PM 2.5 is only 38%. That means only 38% of the outdoor particles can get into indoor under the two-stage filtration system. But when you take out the pleated filter, only aluminum filter is left. 90% of the outdoor fine particles can get into the building. So that shows the pleated filter really play an important role in removing the fine particles. And we actually do that for different particle size. With the left top corner is for the larger size PM10. You can see the aluminum filter has some capacity to remove out the coarse particles, showing by the lower blue line in the experiment period. But it really have very limited capacity to removing fine particles such as PM 2.5 and ultrafine particle PM1. And most of the removing occurred when there is a pleated filter, and the infiltration decrease a lot when there is a pleated filter, especially for PM 2.5 and PM1. Those are particles that reach much smaller size than PM10 and can get into deeply in our human lung and stay there, cause adverse health effect. So the added pleated filter, it has the capacity to remove these fine particles as opposed to have can bring substantial health benefits to the occupants. The cost analysis, including the initial investments and the replacement of the pleated filter, and the benefit actually including both the energy part and the health part, but we don't have enough data to calculate the health part. So now we only include the directly benefit from the energy saving, which will be equivalent to 0.78 million Hong Kong dollar per year. And minus the replacement of the pleated filter, which is 0.2 0.6 million Hong Kong dollar per year, that will be give a net return of 0.72 million Hong Kong dollar per year. And if you use this one to divide the initial investments, you will get a payback period about 3.5 years. This is a pretty acceptable period that local sector can consider to have in the retrofit. Okay, to summarize, we have a win-win situation on energy and environment by retrofitting the HVAC system. In this case, the major measures then is to have a two-stage filtration system take care of the particles, and to have a dehumidification to remove the moist from the air, and to have a sensor-based building management system to adjust the flow so that it can provide the proper ventilation at the same time to save energy. And also they have a positive pressure system to guide all the air from outdoor to go through the air intake. And by doing that, they can save energy by 50%, but at the same time provide a generally acceptable thermal comfort and good indoor air quality. And this is showing to be a very successful case. But the question is, what if we get more buildings like this? How much more benefits we can have as a whole society? Let's do just a simple calculation here. Using the commercial building as an example, commercial buildings account for 43% of the final energy use in Hong Kong, while the HVAC system are using 1/4 of that, which is equivalent to 10% of the final energy use. In this case, we have 50% energy saving efficiency on retrofitting the HVAC system. Someone may argue that this is an old building, the energy efficiency may not be as good as the new buildings. So to take an average, let's just assume that on average, when a building goes through such a retrofit, it can get a 25% energy saving benefits. If all the commercial buildings retrofit HVAC system like this, we multiply the two numbers, we'll get 2.5 energy saving of the final energy use, which will be 7,000 terajoule every year. And this is about 60% of the industrial energy use in Hong Kong, or 15% of the domestic energy use. So you can see a large energy saving potential from retrofitting the HVAC system just in the commercial buildings for Hong Kong. We haven't been talking about the environmental benefits, but this does not mean it's not important. Actually, the benefits from the environment may be much more than the benefits we can get from the energy. And first of all, is provide acceptable thermal comfort and improve the indoor air quality, which will reduce the health risk of the occupants who are working there and reduce the sick leave. So it will also reduce medical care cost. At the same time, it will improve the working performance, which will lead finally to a sustainable economy environment that will be attractive to the talents who will and want to work in Hong Kong. And on the other hand, it has a lot of benefits on the whole society, not just the benefits of occupancy inside the building, because the air is going from outdoor through the building and then get out to the outdoor again. So it's actually the outdoor air is being cleaned during this process. In a way, the building serves as an air purifier in the city. So take the tested building, for example, the PM infiltration is about 40%, which means the building has a capacity of filtering out 6% of the fine particles. And the building have a filtering capacity of 25 million cubic meter per year. So that's a large potential. If you taking into account all the buildings in Hong Kong, we have about 1,000 of such commercial buildings. So there is a great potential for the buildings to help purify the city while benefits the occupants inside the building. So for summary, the HVAC system is critical for both energy saving and equality, and the case study demonstrates a co-benefits for existing building in Hong Kong to refer to by retrofitting the HVAC system. Well, the technology we're talking about is readily available, and the payback period is very acceptable. But the important thing is we need to, when we retrofit the building, we really need to have a holistic idea to take into account both energy, environment, and sustainability in a whole package, so that we can get a or multiple benefits from those parts. Looking down to the road, there are many things we can do to help strengthen the study and make the study more useful. One of them may be to have a quantitative health benefits assessment, so that the public and the building owners may be more clear about the whole benefits from such a retrofit. And it will also be good to have more such cases to help to verify and to demonstrate the idea, so that the public and the building owner can get educated on that. And the third one is with the development of smart sensor and the digitalized information, nowadays cities are stepping into a smart city. Building as a large sector in the city should take this opportunity to make itself smarter, so that it can provide better performance and better health. This case study, we want to acknowledge Dr. Harry Lee from the TAL group, who designed the retrofits and give us the support to do the field measurement. We want to thank Ms. Danny Yip, who provide a lot of useful information on the technology about the retrofit. And the measurement and data analysis is supported by a 5-year project called Praise HK. And this is actually application of the smarter technologies in cities to solve air pollution problem. And this system integrated smart technology such as big data, modeling, sensors, AI, and a lot of other things to band together to empower the general public with personalized air quality data, so that they can manage their exposure to air pollutants by making choices or modifying their choices and activities in their daily life. With that, I would like to thank you all, and we hope we can go hand in hand and make the city much smarter, more sustainable, and healthier for all of the residents to live. Thank you.